Hey, language lovers. Ready to deepen that Italian fluency?
Let's do it.
Today we're tackling two tiny words that can cause big headaches for Italian learners. She and ne.
Small but mighty. They're like the secret handshake of Italian fluency. You gotta know when to use them.
And since you're listening to this deep dive, I bet you're already rocking Pronunciator, which means you're serious about mastering this beautiful language.
Absolutely. Pronunciator is a fantastic tool, and today we're going to supercharge your learning by diving into why these little words chi and ne trip up even seasoned learners.
You've probably bumped into them in your Pronunciator lessons, right?
For sure. And they're tricky because their meaning can seem to shift depending on the context, which is something Pronunciator excels at teaching.
It's like they're playing hide and seek in sentences.
That's a great way to put it. Chi can be particularly slippery. Sometimes it just means there, plain and simple.
Like c'è un gatto nel giardino.
Bellissimo. There's a cat in the garden. But here's where it gets interesting. Chi can also act like a shortcut, referring back to a place or even an idea you just mentioned.
So instead of saying in the garden again, you could just use chi.
You got it. Imagine you're telling someone about that cat in the garden. Instead of saying, I was in the garden yesterday, you can say, Ci sono stato ieri, meaning, I was there yesterday. It adds a smoothness to your Italian.
That's so much smoother. It's like using those cool phrasal verbs in English that make you sound like a native speaker.
Exactly. It's about picking up on those subtle nuances that elevate your fluency. And ne is another one of those subtle but powerful words.
Ne always throws me for a loop. What's the deal with that one?
Ne often pops up when you're talking about quantities, kind of like saying some or any in English. But it can also be tricky, especially in those delicious food conversations.
Oh, I can imagine. Give me an example.
Let's say you've got a plate of those amazing Italian cookies, biscotti.
Biscotti. Okay, I'm with you.
And your friend says, posso averne uno. They're asking, can I have one of them? See how ne elegantly steps in to represent the biscotti.
Ah, so instead of saying one of the biscotti, you just use ne. Slick.
Precisely. It just rolls off the tongue.
That's the dream, right? To sound smooth and natural. These little particles really pack a punch. But let's be real, mastering them takes practice. What's your advice for our listeners who are ready to conquer chies and ne?
Honestly, you're already doing it. By using Pronunciator, you're immersing yourself in real-life scenarios and conversations where these words pop up naturally. That's the key. It's like learning to swim, you've got to jump in the pool.
Love that analogy. So to our listeners out there, keep your ears peeled for chi and ne in your Pronunciator lessons.
And don't be afraid to experiment with them in your own Italian conversations.
Even if you stumble a bit at first, remember, every mistake is a step closer to fluency.
Absolutely. And hey, even native Italian speakers had to learn these nuances at some point. The more you practice, the more natural they'll become. You'll be speaking Italian like a pro in no time.
Now go out there and make those Italian particles sing.
Ciao for now.